channel. If this is your first time here, I want to say a great big thank you so much and welcome. I am so happy that you came to spend some time with me. Today, I am tickled pink because we are doing a summer mystery box hop. And based on the comments from the other mystery box hop challenges that I've seen, you guys love these things because you know that we get 7 to 10 items from the Dollar Tree, and they're usually crazy items, and we have to make DIYs out of them. So, without further ado, let's jump in and see what I got in my box. Look into this box and see what I got. Okay, we've got a card. Kathy, I'm so excited to be doing this challenge with you. I just know that you will take these items and make beautiful projects. Hope you don't find them too hard. But most of all, I'm excited to have made a new friend. Love and prayers, Missy from Crafty Cove. That's who I got my box from. See what I've got here. We've got a sign that says happy from the Dollar Tree. One of the little lanterns. Here's one of those signs that is the mint that says we were meant to be, and it's the sign. Summer state of mind. The sky's the limit. Yes, it is. Oh, this top had just fell off of this. Okay. This is a one of those food storage bins. The top came off of that. Okay. Oh, okay. Right. Right. What are we going to do with this? Okay. A pineapple. How cute. Oh, this is cute. Look at this. Oh, and this is one of those bikini top things. So apparently I'm supposed to put this on and go jump in the pool. Fat chance that's going to happen. But it would scare all my subscribers away if I did that. Okay, and that's my items, guys. So let's look right here at everything we've got. Aim it down right here. My beautiful daughter is helping me because I couldn't find my tripod. I'm in the midst of moving from my room to the new craft studio, and it's a mess. All right, guys. So here is my little stash. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 items. With DIY number 1, here's a picture of me after I looked into my box and I was trying to figure out what in the world I'm going to do with these items. Y'all are going to love this first one, I hope. I took that little octagon frame that she gave me and I gave it 2 good coats of the Waverly white chalk paint. I used 4 of my items in this first DIY. I've also got that food storage container, and I just took it apart and took that little insert from the inside out, the little gray insert here. I took it apart because we're going to use both of those parts and the bottom. And I'm also going to use this little lantern, and I'm also going to use that sign that says meant to be. So I'm cutting everything, all the tags off and getting everything ready. Ready to rock and roll, baby. First, I set that clear container down and I set that gray insert on top of it. I took some jumbo size wooden popsicle sticks and I just started laying those down and creating a form. I was filling in the holes that are there on that insert to that storage container, the gray one on the top. I went all the way around this thing, filling in all the holes and then going up the sides with the popsicle sticks to make a form. Then I squirted that caulk that comes from the Dollar Tree all up and down the sides. And I used popsicle sticks and just spread it on just like cake icing. And in some places, I even used my fingers. I used this caulk all the way around this form and did the same thing. I just spread it on like cake icing, baby. And when I got that whole thing covered, I just left it alone and let it set all night long so it could have a good chance to dry. Boy, this was a messy project. Then I took that little sign that was a plant and I cut off the part that was the pot of the plant. And I put it on the front and then I covered it with the caulk also. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. I covered this whole thing up with this caulk, top to bottom. Guys, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. We are making a lighthouse to go outside by the pool. Since this is a summer DIY challenge, we're doing all summer DIYs. I took a small lemon form that came from the Dollar Tree and I put it on the bottom because it's going to act as a door. And I also covered it up too. And then I took some of those little half beads that I love to use in my DIYs and I just put a couple of them here and there all around this lighthouse. I took a little fence that I had purchased from the Hobby Lobby and I counted down 5 little fence posts and I attached them to this little box. It's one of those pictures that comes from the Dollar Tree and you know the little small boxes, and I attached 5 on each side. I also took one side of one of those little Dollar Tree wooden boxes and placed it on the top of that lighthouse. I took everything outside and I gave it a couple of good coats of that 2x Rust-Oleum matte white paint. And then I cut the ends off of the popsicle sticks, the rounded ends, and I used them as little windows for the lighthouse. Then I cut up a toothpick and I made a little door shape for my lighthouse. And I just used some hot glue to attach it. Many lighthouses that I have seen have like big old thick brown nautical rope connecting fences, you know, to them. So what I wanted to do was do that on the top and connect that fence. I cut about 1-inch increments off of my jute twine and connected it. I had this old shadow box that had all these little nautical things inside, like this little ship wheel. And I did like, have you ever seen one of those signs that says, break the glass for emergency, and it's got like a Hershey bar behind it? Well, guys, I broke that glass and I robbed that nautical shadow box. It had all these cute little things. I took that little life preserver and I stuck it right over the door. This gave it the cutest little added effect. It is just what it needed. Then I simply took my mineral Waverly chalk paint and I distressed everything to make it look like it was old and had been there for a long time. I took one of those little wooden boxes from the Dollar Tree and I painted it white. I also distressed it and I placed it on the top inside that little fence where it goes. I had an anchor in that little shadow box and I placed it at the very top. Then I took my Waverly Antique Wax and I just kind of colored the door and around the door, just kind of, you know, colored in the shadows and the different places where there would be some dark spots that has been there over time. Then I had these little buoys, I think is how you say it, buoys, how that go on the side of a boat. And I put them on the top of the lighthouse just for a little knick-knack and a little added effect. I also placed a couple of my half beads up around that fence area. And then I put everything back together on this octagon frame. And I took that little back part off, the part that, you know, helps it to stand up. And then I put everything together. And I took those little signs that says we were meant to be, and I put them all together and created one sign. I painted it with Waverly Mineral chalk paint, and I gave it probably 3 good coats. Then I took some of those Dollar Tree rub-on transfers, and I just put a couple of numbers on the top of that to make it look like it was the address to the lighthouse. Then I just distressed that and I put it on the top of the lighthouse, and then I put everything back together. I purposely left the little lantern part the very top of the lighthouse where you could take it on and off, because that way you can turn your little lantern on inside the lighthouse. I took some brown Dollar Tree sand and I poured it on that octagon all around my lighthouse. I took a little fisherman's net that was in that shadow box and I glued it to the side of the lighthouse, and I also had a boat that was in that little shadow box and I glued it to the side of the lighthouse. And voila, guys, after about 4 or 5 hours, here she is. And I have 4 of my items that was in my box incorporated into this lighthouse, and I'm so proud of it. I love that it's got a little light in it that you can turn off and on. Let me know what y'all think about this one.
Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs. You can say I lost my mind, I will keep on holding my head high. Even if the sky is falling down. Jumping from cliffs so high, trusting our wings to fly. Sometimes we're crashing down, but we get up and start from the ground. And I really wanna know, if will ever figure out where the road goes. Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs. You can say I lost my mind, I will keep on holding my head high. Even if the sky is falling down, even if the sky is falling down, yeah. The sky is falling down. Even if the sky is falling down, even if the sky is falling down, yeah. The sky is falling down. Yesterday I lost the battle, trying at all costs, oh, to keep you, baby. Oh, to keep you, baby. Now I hurt so bad, all I feel is sad that I lost you, baby. Oh, I lost you, baby. I said goodbye with tears inside, calling.
Guys, I want to ask y'all to please subscribe to my channel and hit that little bell so you'll be notified every time that I upload a video. Come on, what you waiting for? And here's me with DIY number 2. My head's still spinning, but I'm getting the hang of it. So I've got 3 of my items here that we're going to use. I have my chairs, and I have my little bikini top there. And then I also have that little lighted palm tree that flips off and on. And I have this pallet board. It's probably about a size like a 16 by 20, I would say. It's pretty big. First thing I'm going to do is pull out the white Waverly chalk paint, and I'm going to give this bikini top a good covering. I made sure I took my spackle first and covered up the little holes that was in it, and then I gave it 2 good coats just to get that old cheapy plastic look off of it. I took what little bit of elephant chalk paint that I had left in the bottle and added a lot of water to create a stain, and I colored my palette board with the stain. I just wiped it on with my brush, and then I just wiped it off with a rag. I made a P and a L on my Cricut, and I put it on the top, and I spelled out the word pool using that bikini top as the O in pool. I also pulled off the word rules with my Cricut, so now I have pool rules. Under that, I used my Dollar Tree stencils, and I put the words no Speedos and no peeing. Then I used those same Dollar Tree stencils to say grab a seat and stay. I took my little chairs that I was given, and I had to mix up 2 different colors of blue of apple barrel to get a dark blue, and I put on 2 coats. The colors were navy blue and cobalt blue. And then I mixed a tad of black in there to get that dark color. I stole a little surfboard man off my grandson's Hot Wheel track. Don't judge me, I'm a crafter. I take everybody's junk, and I painted it with that blue color. And then I had this anchor that I bought at Hobby Lobby, and I painted it. I got it for 70 cents. I glued my 2 chairs down at the bottom in a catty corner fashion. I also have this little mermaid that I got from Walmart for $1.47. I put her on there, and I put the anchor on there. And then I took that little palm tree that she gave me that lights up, and I put it on the very top so you could still turn the light on and off. And then I just took my white Waverly chalk paint and distressed everything. Then I have some of those large hooks that are like cup hooks that you can screw in, and I put 3 of those in the bottom so we can hang our towels on this out by the pool. And then I'm finished, guys. I've got this awesome sign that goes out by the pool that is a towel holder or towel hanger, something that you hang your towels on. My grandson is 2, but the first thing he's going to say when he sees this is, "Hey, that's my little man from my Hot Wheels track." I just about bet you. Then I'll throw in one of those quick life lessons and be like, "You shouldn't have left it in the floor, sweetheart." I'm just kidding. I would never say that to my baby. This piece actually broke off of his game, and we were going to throw it away. So I was like, let me see. I think I can do something with that. see, these DIYs aren't that easy, but we shall overcome because we have brute DIY strength and we came to conquer. I don't have a bit of sense. I was running around like a chicken with my head cut off, guys. It was crazy. Now listen, we're doing a giveaway. Did you know that? Here's what you got to do. You got to go down in the box below and you have to put your middle name. That's my secret code. So get to it. And also hit that little red subscribe button and subscribe to my channel. You're gonna love it. Bye. The rules for the giveaway are you have to subscribe to every person in this hop. So you have to subscribe to everyone's channel. And each person is going to give you a secret word to put in the comments. Go down to my comments and put in your middle name and subscribe to my channel. The host of this challenge is Sammy at Unicorn Dust Designs. She is awesome. And her co-host is Leonette at DIY Beauty on Purpose. Let's get into DIY number 3. We can do this. Hey, Mama always said I was special. I'm going to start off with this little pineapple, and I'm going to de-tinsel it. I'm going to take all this old ugly tinsel off of this thing. We are going to make a Swedish burlap braid on this pineapple. So I've got this yellow burlap that I got from Walmart, and it's the 5-inch, and I'm going to show you this pretty slow. All you do is you fold down the corner, and then you cut it, and it makes a perfect square. I'm going to show you this several times. You just fold it down, you cut it, and it makes a perfect square every time. So all you're doing is making little triangles and cutting them, and you're going to need probably about, 15 of these. I'm just going to show you this just a few more times just in case you have trouble figuring out how to do it. I myself had to go back several times and be like, okay, now what do I do again here? I hope you guys are enjoying this challenge. It's really a big challenge to take items that aren't normally DIY items and turn them into something. It was a lot more than what I thought. You're going to need about 15 of these squares. I'm going to slow this part down so in case you have trouble getting it. I got some of these small 4-inch cable ties. And what you do is you fold it again like a little triangle. And then you fold the sides into themselves. And it looks like a little coat for a mouse. Don't ask me why, but that's what it reminds me of. I don't know if you guys ever watched that movie, The Rescuers Down Under, and it was a little mouse, and her name was Bianca, I think, and she wore a fur coat, and this is what it reminds me of. Okay, again, you make the triangle, and then you take those ends and bring them down. Then you're going to take that cable tie through the back, and then it's going to go around the front and back in. It's probably easier for you to just actually look and see what I'm doing than for me to explain. Triangle, and then you fold the sides in. The zip tie goes in the back and then around the front and back down again. There is Miss Mousie's coat. Make sure that you don't close these zip ties yet. All that we're doing right now is sticking them from the back around to the front and back around, and you're not closing them. See, I'm leaving them open. And I chose to use the yellow cable ties just because they matched the pineapple. These are going to be the little leaves, I guess you call it, of the pineapple. Okay, again, I'm going to stay slow so it's pretty easy to follow. We're going to start off on the side, and you're going to flip it over and put it on that first little, there's actually 1, 2, 3 bars that go across. This is going to go on that first bar at the bottom. And what you're going to do is you're going to place the little yellow part in the front, and then in the back is where you're going to tie it with that zip tie. I love to use zip ties in my crafting because they don't make any mess and they're so easy. Once that you connect it together and pull, it's done. There's no coming off. And it's so much easier to use than, say, floral wire. So what you do is you don't go to that second one. Go to the third one over. And you're going to put another one. The way that you do this, basically, to make the pineapple shape, is go to the right side and the left side, and then the very last one that you're going to put is the one that's going to be in the middle. So that way it kind of lays down over the first two. It's probably a lot easier for you just to watch me than for me to explain. I don't think you guys are slow by any means, but I was just watching that tutorial on YouTube on how to do this Swedish braid, and it took me a few times. You see, all that I'm doing is going from one side to the other side, and then you fill in the middle, because that way it just lays right, it just looks right. If you don't, those sides will be, on the top and like kind of covering up the middle. And that's not the way a pineapple looks. Like, it actually looks just like a pineapple when you're finished. It's really pretty. And I didn't have anything to go off of when I was doing this. I just kind of eyeballed it and went with it. You want to make sure that you keep your mold there, or whatever you call that, your wreath, or however you call that, the plastic part. You just want to make sure that you have that covered, that you can't see that part. Okay, and like I said, you're going to go from one side to the other side, and then the last part you're going to put in is going to be the center. Another thing I needed to tell you was don't pull those zip ties all the way tight yet. Just make them kind of halfway done, because you don't want to fully pull them tight until you get finished, because you may have to kind of maneuver things around to get it to look exactly right. I don't mean to be so repetitive or to make you guys feel like I think that you're dumb or anything. I just know it took me a few times watching this to get it. Good luck to everyone on the giveaway. This prize is worth like $140, guys. She's going to have $110 worth of hard-to-find items, plus it's going to be paying for the shipping and handling, and it's going to be awesome. She's also putting a gift card in there, so make sure that you subscribe to every person and make sure that you answer their question, and you may be the winner. The winner is going to be announced on June the 6th, and it's going to be announced with Unicorn Dust Designs. That's Sammy's channel. Okay, so I'm getting a little bit closer to the top here, and I'm going to speed it up a little bit because I've let you watch this whole thing. I just know on YouTube there's not a lot of tutorials showing how to do this Swedish braid, so I wanted to make it where it was very simple and very easy in case you guys wanted to do one. All right, to do the top, I have this green, and I have the worst time saying this word. I guess it's tulle, toile. I'm not sure. I wish I could tell you that I had some plan on how to make this perfect, but I did not. So what I did was I just kind of like wound it up, like with my fingers. I bunched it up toward the middle. And then what I would do when I cut it off, see, I would like kind of bunch it up. And then I would take one of those tie wraps, and I would like just tie it around and then kind of fluff out the green with my hands. And believe it or not, I actually pulled it off. It worked. You know this stuff, this toile, toule, whatever it's called. That stuff is pretty easy to work with. Like, you really can't mess it up too bad. I mean, so all I did was kind of like scrunched it up. You see my fingers there? I'm kind of scrunching it is all I'm doing, and just wrapping it around there. This stuff reminds me of Beaker's head from the Muppets. Do you remember the little guy with the orange hair and the great big eyeballs, and he'd go beep, 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 beep? Now look at this guy, and you tell me you don't think his hair looks like the top of that pineapple. Anywho, I've got this sign that says Summer State of Mind. It's got limes on it, though. We're not doing limes. We're doing pineapples. We're going to make a agua de piña. I lived in Mexico for about a year. It's been about 20 years ago. And man, I miss it down there. I miss the food and the drink. And I just remember they used to make agua de piña. And it was pineapples with water and sugar pretty much, and you put it in the blender, and man, you talk about something good. The street vendors would sell it, and I have the recipe here. I painted the back of it with bright yellow from Apple Barrel, and then I'm going to take some of that, Lord help me, toile, and I'm going to put it down in the middle of my mason jar. And I had bought this cute little fabric with pineapples on it. So I wanted to use a little bit of it, and I just cut a square of it off, and I like ripped down the sides when I cut it so it would kind of be frayed looking and just kind of, I didn't want it too uniform. You know what I mean? And then I put my little recipe right in the middle of that. I just glued everything down. When I saw this, I knew I had to do it. It was just so nostalgic for me, remembering back in that time. I was so young back then. I was probably like 18, 19, 20 years old when I lived down there. Man, you want to talk about some good food. I just think about the food all the time. So I've got this little tin full, like a sheet pan type thing from the Dollar Tree. And I just measured out right there how I needed the top of my jar, how big it needed to be, and I cut it. And I'm just simply going to glue that to the top. And I'm going to use my very last item in my box, which was this sign that says happy. And I'm using the color by Apple Barrel called Holly Branch. It's a green color. And I'm just kind of going over this like a distressing motion. Anytime that I paint these little signs like this, I always just kind of do them like I'm distressing them because the paint doesn't want to stick. I also took some of my stickers from the Dollar Tree, and I took the word hour, H-O-U-R, and I painted it with that green holly branch too. And then I have one of these willow wreaths from the Dollar Tree. I am simply going to take and tie wrap that pineapple, my agua de piña, and the word happy down on this willow wreath. And underneath happy, I'm going to put the word hour on that glass so it will say happy hour. My happy hour here at the house is always non-alcoholic. As you can see, I don't need alcohol. Like, I already act like I'm drunk just on the norm. And when I was finished, I took some of that yellow color and I just lightly distressed over that green, the word happy and hour, because I thought that looked really cool to distress it with the yellow. And it all came together perfectly. Look how beautiful this turned out. This DIY had 3 of my items. The second one had 3 of my items, and the first one had 4 of my items. I really wanted to push myself and challenge myself and see if I could come up with 3 DIYs out of these 10 items. And I'm happy to say I did. Now, I'm not going to say it was easy, but it sure was fun. So guys, once again, if you want to get in that giveaway, don't forget to go down into the comments and do my secret question, which was what's your middle name, and subscribe to my channel. I am so thankful that you guys came. I hope you had a good time. I hope you had a couple of laughs. And I'm so thankful that you spent a little bit of time with me today. I hope you come back and stick around a while. Here in just a minute, When all the pictures are over with, I'm going to show you a little bit of progress on my new craft studio. And this week, I probably won't make another video because I'm going to use the rest of this week to get my craft studio in order so that my next video is going to be shot in there and I'm going to be totally in. I just now realized that I forgot to mention at the top right there, I had bought this ribbon off of Amazon, and it's like summer ribbon. It had pineapples, flamingos, and a beach scene, and I stuck that in the top. I just made one of those messy bows where you make X's. As you can see in my craft studio, there's not much of anything in there yet. It's kind of bare. I got to get busy working on this thing and putting it together. I've got a lot to do before my next video.
Hey, Penny Pio, aren't you gorgeous today? Oh, look at you. Look at you. She's like, okay, but where's the food at, Mom? I don't care about all this baby talk, but where's the food? What you doing over there, Martha? There's Martha and Penny. Martha and Penny, they're over there digging for worms, Sabby.
Poor Sabby, I had to slow this down and show this to you. His groomers could not get him in this month, so I bought some clippers off of Amazon and did it myself. The poor fella looks like he's got cornrows. Anyways, I love you guys. Y'all have a blessed week.